If you're tired of your range game not showing up on the course, or if you're like me and don't have the time or the budget for 6 range sessions a week, this video should help with that. I'm going to show you the 5-part range session strategy that I use that has helped me lower my handicap by 18 strokes in a little over a year. First and foremost, gone are the days of getting the jumbo bucket. We have a bucket of 80 balls here. The reason why is we want to make every single shot count. If you have too many balls, you're either A, going to hurt yourself, or B, you're not going to learn anything from your practice. Trust me, I used to get the jumbo bucket, and when I would hit a bad shot, I would just panic scrape and then not really work on anything. I would just try to hit a good shot. We're going to stick to our process and split these balls up into 5 groups and really get the most out of every single shot. Part 1 is all about the warm-up, and this is super critical, okay? This is where you would take time to get stretched, not just hit balls, okay? Then once you get stretched and kind of get a little loose, then we're gonna take, for this section you can do 5 to 10. I'm gonna do 5 for this purpose. We're just gonna take something like a pitching wedge, something easy to hit, and just hit 5 balls. During this segment, I don't want you to care what the ball is doing. The purpose of a warm-up is to get warmed up. I don't want you to care where the ball goes. You can kind of observe the feedback, but the purpose of this is just to get the blood flowing, get loose, because trust me, by the end of the range session, you're gonna need it. And sometimes you hit shanks like that, and that's okay, because it's a warm-up. We don't care. Part 2 is where we do block practice. This is where you spend time working on a specific issue in your swing, implementing a swing change, or just working on skill building drills. So for this portion, you're gonna need an alignment stick, or you can use a club. Pick a target, and that is the only target we're gonna be hitting these next 20 balls with. For me, I'm struggling with fundamental issues right now, like face control and ground strike. So I'm gonna be using Dr. Scholl's foot spray on something like my 4-iron because I wanna make practice hard, and just try to work the ball different ways. For you, if you wanna make it a little bit easier, you can use something like a 7-iron here. So depending on what you're working on, whatever that might be, for me, I can't implement a swing change if I am swinging at full speed. I'm gonna make a nice half swing, and the goal for this portion is just to go slow and for me, it was a little bit higher in the face, but that's a good strike. But what is it that you're working on? Let me know in the comments. Maybe it's a takeaway feel. Maybe your hands are too inside and you're working on bringing it way out here or something. Whatever it is, I would recommend going slow and just use this time to really ingrain that new swing feel. And at the end of the day, this is also going to scale based on where your game is at right now. So if you're a complete beginner, maybe you want to work on just like fundamentals, like checking your alignment or your grip or whatever. Maybe it's your tempo. If you're battling a slice, try to hit a hook. If you're battling a hook, try to hit a slice. You want to use these 20 balls to really ingrain those new motor patterns and those new swing mechanics. All right, before we head into part 3, if you have found this video helpful, consider liking and subscribing so that YouTube can show it to more golfers who need help. Part 3 is all about wedges. They say amateurs need to get really good from 100 yards and in, so we're gonna do away with the alignment sticks because you can't get those on the course, and it's super simple, all right? Pick a target, pick a club, and try to get it as close to that target as possible. The rule is you have to pick a new club and a new target every single shot. The other thing too is this is where we start to get a little bit on course simulation. Instead of getting mad, go through your full routine, and when you hit the shot, instead of getting mad and reacting, simply just observe. How was the ground strike? How was the flight? How was contact? And then use that as feedback. All right guys, for part 4, 25 more balls. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing golf on the driving range. So the idea is to pick your par. So for instance, let's say we have a par 5 here. We pick a target, like a window, and as long as the ball finishes in that window, we're good. And then we'll play our next shot from the fairway or the trees or whatever and simulate that and just rinse and repeat. So for example, I'm going to play a par 5 that's pretty long right now. My target is going to be the landscape and smokehouse sign, and if the ball finishes within the edges of those signs, that's a good drive. So for this, you want to go through your full routine, and just like with the wedge practice, when you hit your shot, observe it, don't react. How was contact? Did it finish where you wanted it to? So that's left. I want to say maybe 30 yards left of the edge of the landscape sign. So we would technically be in the rough. So for this next shot on this par 5, let's take a 5-iron and try to get it out of the rough and get it as close to the green as we can. Let's just say we're still 280 out. So now my target is going to be this barber sign over there. And out of the rough, that would not be a good shot. But that's the whole point. This last part is going to be a fun one. Let's say you hit 5 balls for a warm-up. That should give you about 5 balls left. Well, what we're going to do is those 5 balls, you're going to do what's called the poor man's speed training method. Now, obviously, you want to have a radar or a launch monitor for feedback, but since we're broke, we don't have that. So the goal is to just take those 5 balls, hit them as hard as you can with the driver. Don't worry about what your body's doing. Don't worry about ball flight. Just try to make the club face connect with the back of the ball as fast as and as hard as you can. Because what this is doing is this is bringing up our cruising speed. So if you normally hit the ball at 140 miles an hour with driver, it's gonna slow. If you do this over time, your cruising speeds will come up, and so that 140 will turn into 145. Now, it is super important to note, you need to do this at the end. Why? Because we're already warmed up, the blood's already flowing, the muscles are relaxed. If you do this at the first part of your range session, you run a higher risk of injury, and you don't want to do that. Just swing it as hard as you can, don't care where it goes. Do about 5 balls of these, or I guess however many you have left. Now, I wouldn't recommend swinging that hard on the course, but again, brings up your cruising speed. So for instance, it might be a good idea to do about 5 balls of these and then go back to your on-course swing. So for instance, you just saw my hit it as hard as you can swing. And now let me do my new on-course swing, where we just try to swing 80%, go a little bit slower in the backswing. And I actually towed that high on the face, and it's okay. It's also worth mentioning that if you were frustrated at any part during this 5-part range session, the poor man's speed training session would be the best time to let out that frustration. But how are your range sessions? Did you find any of these parts helpful? And if so, which one are you going to try first? Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, guys, if you want to see the 9-hole scramble video I did with my dad, you can check that out up here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.